Hey, hello, leaders. This is Paul Grau Jr., and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. So today, I want to talk about a quote that I heard a while back, but I titled today's episode, "This is Impossible for Leaders." Now, before you turn it off because you're thinking, hey, nothing's impossible, right? You can do everything. And I know a lot of you listening are very confident, and that is awesome. And I'm going to cover that today. But this show is based on a quote that I heard. And I heard a couple weeks ago or a month or so ago, I was at a conference and Zig Ziglar's son, Tom Ziglar, was speaking. And he basically read a quote from his father. And the quote was, "It's impossible for us to consistently perform in a way that is inconsistent with the way we see ourselves." That was Zig Ziglar. Now, think about that just for a second. It's impossible for us to consistently perform in a way that is inconsistent with the way we see ourselves. So, for high-performing leaders, this is good news because we see ourselves as a high-performing leader. We're confident in our abilities. And when we see ourselves like that, we are going to consistently perform that way. So you can kind of reword this and say, the way we see ourselves is the way we will consistently perform. Okay? That's another way of saying this quote. Now, my question to you is, how do you see yourself? That's the real question. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself as a leader? Do you think you're a good leader? Do you think you're a great leader? Do you think you're a high-performing leader? Do you think you're a bad leader? Because however you see yourself, that's the way you're going to consistently perform in that area. So, what about how do you see yourself as being good enough? Are you good enough? What about your people? Are your people good enough? Do you believe that about them? How do you see them? Because this is not only this belief and the way you see yourself and you see others, man, the way you see others, especially your team members and your people, the way you see them is going to reflect in the way you treat them. And that in turn is going to make them think of themselves the way you're thinking of them. So be careful. You should trust your people. You should have faith in them. You should be encouraging them. You should believe in them. What about your leadership power, your leadership authority? Do you think you deserve it? Do you think that you have earned it? What do you think about when you're thinking about yourselves and your leadership power or authority? What about your knowledge level? What are you thinking about yourself when it comes to knowledge level? When it comes to leadership knowledge? When it comes to knowledge level of basically doing the tasks that people on your team are doing? What about as a communicator? Do you see yourself as an effective communicator? And you remember, you probably go back in the archives here, but I've taught a lot about communicating, and effective communication is when you pass your message to the receiver and they interpret it and basically understand it exactly the way you were meaning to tell them. So you encode it, they have to decode it and understand what it means. And if you're not doing that, it's not effective communication. So if you don't think you're an effective communicator, guess what? You're not going to be. Because again, like Zig says, it's impossible for us to consistently perform in a way that is inconsistent with the way we see ourselves. What about confidence? What about speaking? What about training? What about mentoring? Are you a continuous learner? Do you think you're overconfident, not confident enough? You see, the bottom line here is if you don't see yourself as the way you think you should be seeing yourself, well, what's holding you back? What's holding you back from seeing yourself in a better way? Because you see, those barriers are going to hold you back. Because you might be able to act or perform one way that you don't think you are, but it's not going to be consistent. It's only going to be temporary. So what we need to do is make sure that we are seeing ourselves as able, as prepared, as equipped, as high-performing leaders, people that care about the people on their team, people that take the time to get to know the people on their team, people that are servant leaders. We put the needs of our people as a high priority. That's a high-performing leader. So if you're not seeing yourself the way you should, well, again, ask yourself, why not? Why aren't you seeing yourself that way? You see, when I'm coaching people, that's one of the things that we work on. We work on these limiting beliefs. We work on confidence. We work on leadership ability and knowledge and putting that knowledge into action. So, hey, that's it for today. But again, such a great quote. And again, you will consistently perform the way you see yourself. Hey, just think about that today. Let it soak in and start asking yourself, how do you see yourself? If you're not performing up to your own expectations in a certain area, ask yourself, how do I see myself in that area? Hey, that's it for today. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And man, look in the mirror and tell yourself you are awesome. And then go have an awesome day. Until tomorrow, run to your challenges. We'll see you.